Today's journey in Everquest was a wonderful one. Instead of running and doing the best XP zones, I would instead try and find some different places to level and do a little bit of exploring. And honestly, man, am I happy I did that. I took a look at the wiki for the Kinos aqueducts. I realized that it was actually much larger than I originally thought, so I decided to kind of wander around a little bit to all the named locations on the map. I came across this brazier. It was lit, and if I click it, it teleports me to Toxulia Forest. Guarding this magical little pot, there were two sewer sentinels dressed in Kino's guard attire. I figured, what the heck? I'm an evil necromancer. I've been raising undead skeletons to do my bidding. Why not channel that to my benefit? So I hang out here and camp these guys. They're both even cons, white. I never had them show up as higher or lower level. And every time I killed one, they always dropped a rusty weapon. And sometimes they dropped, or rarely they dropped, a shortened spear along with a handful of coins, per the usual. The weapons were pretty heavy, but I found that the spawn time in between both of them spawning was actually long enough that I could actually run all the way back to Evil HQ and sell all my stuff. So it was perfect. These guys, they gave far better XP than I expected. I was honestly surprised. I also learned here that if my pet dealt over 50% of the damage to the mob, he saps my XP. I don't know by how much he saps my XP, but I don't get as much. So I noticed it's pretty significant. So since there's only two of them, and I was basically AFK killing them, I would just blow all of my mana on them as inefficiently as possible to make sure I got full XP on the kill. Or I hope that's what is happening, because it's all a little hard to tell. The experience was, it was good. It was too good. I wasn't making a lot of money. Previous level, my spells were 4 plat apiece. I don't know what level 12 spells are, but I was a little bit nervous because if I have to buy spells that are like 10 plat each, man, I'm done. I got to find a way to get money. But I stayed there for about an hour and I got an entire level. I got to level 9. I'm also not sure if that's fast XP or not, but it felt quick to me, and honestly, it was fun. So I'm kind of glad I sat there killing them. But I had to log off because Secrets, who I believe is the dev for the server, or the one who started the server, announced that there's a patch and the server was going to restart. So I went, I got some lunch, and before coming back to the sewers to find a camp that has frustrated me to no end in all the best ways. Cubert. That's right. The server restarted, so I figured if something was wrong with this, the restart probably fixed it, right? I was actually correct. I came over to Cubert's spot and immediately noticed something different. There was a new rat walking around. It was called a mangy rat. I've never seen it before. Was it 2 hours or 3 hours I spent camping Cubert the previous day? Never saw this guy. So I murdered him. And by murder him, I mean I command my almighty Yenneth, this time his name is spelled Jenekn, to go punch it to death. I think it was 30 seconds, every 30 seconds. 30 seconds later, a new mangy rat spawned, and I noticed where it spawned, on this little blood stain. The exact spot the comments on the EQ wiki said Cubert spawns. Interesting. Maybe the restart did do something. I'm not saying it was bugged. Maybe the rat just wandered off and got stuck somewhere. Who knows? It's EverQuest, it's an old game. So I decided, hey, every 30 seconds or whatever, I'd kill whatever spawns. If I'm feeling crazy, I'll also kill this group of froglocks. There's 3 froglocks under the water there. And my newfound level 8 spells absolutely destroy them. Mostly my pet, but you know what I mean. I killed maybe 6 or 7 spawns, and then it happens. Cubert and his little jello butt show up, and he drops the tattered dress. This was the quest I mentioned in the first episode. I can take this dress to one of 3 NPCs in Kinos, and they have a rare chance to reward me with a +3 intelligence earring. I don't know if intelligence is good for necromancers. I figure If it follows D&D rules, I'm a caster. Maybe I want int. I don't know. However, I soon found out that my little shenanigans with butchering the fine guards of Kinos made me kill on sight to all the quest givers, all the merchants, and half the guards. And I also came across this role model guy. He was leveling his swimming stuck on a wall. Honestly, seems kind of smart because leveling it's annoying. So, according to the wiki, all 3 quest givers now hate my guts. So I decided to try some sneaky stuff. This is an old game after all, and I'm sure there's ways around it. So I try handing the item in while invisible. Nothing happens. The dude turned around and whooped my butt. So I take a quick look at the forums, and it turns out this is actually what you're supposed to do. According to the dudes on the forums, if you're quick enough, or if the gods of Norwrath are looking kindly at you at that moment, you can throw the dress at him, he'll turn around, throw the quest words at you before going, hey, wait a minute, you're that guy from the sewers. All before I jump back into the sewers and swim down into the darkness. Thus begins the strangest quest I have ever done in any game ever. A strange process of killing rats until Cubert shows up, killing Cubert and hoping he drops the dress, followed by swimming up to Kinos, casting Invis on myself, quickly tossing the dress at Endrick, hoping he tosses the earring at me before diving back into the water to go kill Cubert again. Endrick also has some lines about how sad it is, and the father will be upset because the kid died to Cubert. Well, Cubert has killed a ton of kids because I kill and turn in this tattered dress. No joke, like 25 times. I'm not sure how many kids are falling into the sewers in Kinos, but maybe it's all like railing or something. I did get 1 earring on my 2nd or 3rd turn in, and then I proceeded to camp Cubert for what felt like literally 4 or 5 plus hours, constantly turning in the dresses, fighting with Endrick, getting him to accept the stupid dress, hiding in the sewers, so on and so forth. Out of all these turn-ins, I got like a stack of 15 Hermitite, whatever the heck that is, 1 earring, no 2nd earring, frustrating, but fun. My time in the Cubert camp comes to a quick end because I also ran out of water. And that begins the next venture of our journey. Where, oh where in Kinos can an evil kill-on-sight necromancer purchase a little bit of water? Instead of just drinking the sewer water, because we're not doing that. We may be evil, but we're not that evil. So I head over to the evil HQ under Kinos, take a quick look at every vendor there. Nobody sells water. There is a banker, but no water. All right. So, as with all things, head to the wiki. And I found out that there is an NPC who will sell water to evil characters, but he's in the Rogue Guild. So down here, through this wall, you see a single room. This is actually how you get into the rogue area, another one of those fake walls. Now, I would have liked this more if there was a NPC that just stands here, someone to kind of watch, but there's a reason they don't. And that is something I found out the hard way. So, this is a trap. You come down here, this is a trap. This is the way in. There's another fake wall in between these torches. Didn't learn any of this until I came down here. Didn't know this. I knew there was a vendor down here, so I was just like, oh, just keep going. And then you fall into this pit. This is where they get you. Now take a close look up there. There's actually a window. And I'll show you when we get up there that there's a small little area. I actually think I'm going to put on Deadeye because I can't see. But there's a small area up there where someone's posted to keep a lookout for anyone that falls down here, which is interesting, right? So humans have the worst night vision in the game, but apparently necromancers get Deadeye. I didn't know this, which gives me, I think it's called Ultravision? It doesn't say. But, so I had to walk up out of here, walk up out of the sewers, come through here, and you got this nice little picture here. That's cool. Up this ramp, and then you're met with all of this. Now, this is not a trap, I don't believe. Yeah, this is the main area. And I'm assuming Guildmaster in there, but I vendored I want to say he was back here somewhere in the back room. Through these double doors. This guy. He actually sells to me, and he doesn't attack me. Neither does his friend. When I came back, someone else was at Cubert and the Froglock camp. So I decided now was as good as time as any to explore a bit more, you know? Remember the Aqueduct maps was bigger than I expected? Exactly. I head down to the furthest parts, the deepest, darkest parts of the aqueducts. And there's some stronger NPCs here. I found a few name guys. There was a dwarf called, I think his name was Thumpy or something, and a big ogre guy standing next to a bunch of bones. I believe they were feeding people to the sharks down in the water. The sharks were red to me. Didn't want to go in there, but it's like full gangster style stuff. I wandered around down there a little bit. There really wasn't much down there other than like a few rooms full of mercenaries and thugs. The mercenaries were yellow and even to me. I had to try it. I tried fighting them. No, they kicked my butt. Swiftly did they kick my pet's butt, followed by my butt, all the way back to the Kinos respawn. So there were two that were not mercenaries. They were called thugs. I was able to kill those, but basically it ended up me being just killing both and sitting there and waiting. And I swear their spawn timer was greater than the sewer sentinels because it felt like I was losing my mind sitting there AFK. So I decided, time for another adventure. That adventure led me to Blackburrow. The only thing I remember about Blackburrow from when I played the game was it was awful because you could aggro things from down below. Things could run away and aggro things. Things came through walls. Things casted spells through walls. It was a whole thing. It was awful. When I zoned in, there was an absolute metric ton of people everywhere. There was like 15 solo people killing anything that moved on the top floor. There's a big group of barbarians all wailing on these guys downstairs. So I went invisible and I wandered around to a nice cozy spot off away from the crowd. And I spotted two gnolls, blue and light blue. And I thought, let's try it. This zone is listed as having a decent Zem. And Zem, I learned, is zone experience modifier. So fighting things within a particular zone will reward you with more experience than per se fighting in another zone. And this one actually had a pretty good one, which is probably why all these people were here to begin with, right? So, those two gnolls, I send my mighty champion of an undead pet in. No problem. Except there was a third gnoll who was white con and hidden by a rock. He also came. That was the problem. However, the bigger problem was the fourth gnoll that was a pat. I guess I didn't see him. So I respawned at Kinos and I decided to change gears again. I headed over to West Corona and discovered that this amazing bandit camp isn't something I can do, or at least I can't do the quest involved as it lowers my reputation with Evil HQ back home in Kinos. I don't understand the factions that much. Maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe I can go to like Freeport or something and buy spells. Whatever. Bummer. Also, there were so many goddamn people in West Corona. There's barely anything to kill anyway. So onwards and upwards. Stay positive. Continue exploring and adventuring. This is Everquest after all, right? So the next morning, I logged into the game pretty early, had my coffee. It said there was only 1,300 people on the server at the time, and figured I'd check out Blackburrow again. You see, when I was down there previously, I noticed a halfling farming these big snakes, giant snakes specifically, and he was doing just fine. So I thought I'd take a look. So I climbed up the ladder. Camp was open. No one was there. All 4 snakes were up. I camped here, I want to say an hour, maybe it was a little longer than an hour. The XP wasn't great. I did level up. I did level up to 11. I can't remember how long I was down there. I wish I would have timed it. I want to say it was only an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes to get a level. It felt very slow. I spent a long time netting. But the snakes, I wasn't able to kill all 4. I was only able to kill 3. And kind of barely 3. I had to really kind of slow it down a bit. Pushing it beyond that, it really got risky. And at one point, my pet decided to just disappear in a wall. So I had to like kill him and summon another. Oh, that was weird. Anyhow, These guys dropped a bunch of stuff, and I didn't know what was worthwhile because I've never sold anything from a giant stake, so I don't know what items were good and what items weren't good. So I kept all the giant rattles. That was the mistake. The giant rattles were worthless. I can't remember how worthless, but they were not worth the 3 pounds or whatever it was they weighed. But everything else was totally worth the amount of weight. I think it was specifically a poison gland. Maybe it was something else. There's some kind of like stomach looking thing. It was like black and green and blue and blah. But it sold for a ton of money. I made great cash, honestly. Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy our adventures in Everquest. And if you see me in the server, say hello. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next episode.